Good morning. The selected current event involved the arrest of a 10-year-old child for urinating behind his mother's vehicle. The mother was in an office obtaining legal advice. They were approximately 40 minutes from the home, and he was informed that there were no restrooms there. A patrol officer observed him urinating behind the car and proceeded to inform his mother. The officer was going to let the boy go home with a warning because the mother handled the situation properly. However, right before this, more officers arrived, and the officer's lieutenant told him that the kid needed to be arrested. The 10-year-old boy was taken into custody, placed in the rear of a police vehicle, and held in a cell for 1 hour before being released to his mother. Examining the past, it is clear that the police have not always had the most positive relationship with people of color. When viewed through the lens of a police officer, the boy's actions were illegal and would have resulted in punishment for an adult. Officers may be enforcing the law and attempting to teach this young boy a lesson. However, most officers recognize the wrongdoing and the damage in this situation. Officers should also consider how this affects the community relationship. To the community and this boy's family, it seems like someone was attempting to use their position of power to punish this child beyond what was needed because they could. This has been a long-standing theme in the justice system, and many diverse groups are affected by it. The New York Post published a direct and concise article about this situation. It relied heavily on direct statements from the mother and son. Fox News also covered this story and provided a less detailed account of how the child is affected or traumatized by this situation. This article also includes the perspective or statement of the police departments responsible for the arrest. Following a remark from the police chief announcing the dismissal of an officer from the Senatobia Police Department, Fox News begins the article with statements that the officer had been fired. Then they reference Facebook users about how they feel about the situation after mentioning the nation was furious. Then Fox proceeds to describe the interaction that led to the boy's arrest using numerous direct quotations from Latoya Eason and then arresting officer. This article concluded with a concise discussion of how this situation has affected the young boy. What was missing from the article was any direct quotes from the young boy himself. In addition, it was never explained or mentioned why backup arrived or why the lieutenant had called for the arrest. The New York Post article about this case starts with, a 10-year-old Mississippi boy was arrested and taken to jail for peeing in public, and his mother is furious. Following this was a description of what transpired through direct quotes from the mother, son, and officer. It then included direct statements from a 10-year-old child about how terrified he was when being taken to jail and how it has affected him in other ways. This article then explains why the decision was made to arrest the young child. In a lengthy statement, Senatobia Police Chief Richard Chandler cited state's Youth Court Act, which he permits law enforcement to file referrals against children as young as 7 if they are in need of supervision, or 10 if they commit acts that would be illegal for an adult. Furthering this idea, the necessity to remove children from a scene is dependent on a variety of factors and the availability of reasonable alternatives. In this situation, an officer personally witnessed a 10-year-old boy committing an act in public that would have otherwise been illegal for an adult under these circumstances. In light of the fact that the mother was present and a viable alternative, Police Chief Chandler later acknowledged that there was a mistake in judgment here. This article did not include any indication that an officer had been reprimanded or punished. In this situation, it is clear that someone took advantage of their position of authority. It is easy to understand why the child who did not have access to a restroom thought the only choice left to him was to urinate behind the vehicle. This child was detained for a period of time and then finally freed. He was distraught and shaky as a result of the experience he had just been through. Due to this connection the police have with the community is harmed, since there is no trust and no mutual understanding or attempt to understand. Thank you.